if you want growth in life, you must be open to people criticizing you and critiquing your work. If you don't want to grow, then be averse to it.
Okay, so the beautiful thing about It's a Wrap is it comes to you from anywhere. Like filming, we have different locations. We don't shoot in one place, except you want to be creative. You could be that person. But yeah, today, if you can see the ambience, we're in a theater, of course. And when we are in the theater, what comes to your head? Or who comes to your head? Who comes to your head? In Lagos, in Nigeria. Let me take your brain for 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, you missed it. I'm here with the very amazing, creative, and quite informative director in Nigeria. Her name is Bolanle Austen Peters. How are you?
Lovely to see you. Heard a lot about you.
Thank you.
So it's a privilege.
Thank you for joining me on It's a Wrap. I normally like to have a conversation, not an interview, so it doesn't look too stifled, right? Now, let's talk about film first. First, congratulations on Filmmaking Austen Peters.
Thank you.
Yeah, I must say that. And I think, for one, I want to see it because I've heard a lot about the woman, and I think it'd be nice for Nigerians to know a lot about this phenomenal individual.
Right.
And I think it's a lot of depiction in the film. So well done again.
Thank you.
And of course, the cast assemble, I'm like, wow. I'm seeing Joke Silva, I'm seeing Kende Bankole, award-winning Kende Bankole, by the way. And the younger Fumi, I guess, from the teaser that I saw. But yeah, before I go into the deets properly, now, what do you want people to gain from this? Because there's a lot of biopics that I feel needs to be done in Nigeria. People don't know culture or history. People need to know what is happening, who laid the foundation, who paved the way, for certain things. So yeah, why do you think it was important for you to do a film on Filmmaking Austen Peters?
Yeah, so the first thing is, if you think back as a child, certainly for me growing up, you hear a lot about American heroes. Yeah. You hear about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Winnie Mandela. And you're asking yourself, where are the Nigerian heroes? It's important that we begin to tell those stories. A lot of our children do not have that historical perspective. Yeah. They don't get these stories because we're not producing enough of them. Yeah. And certainly in our history books, history is no longer something that is on the top of the agenda in schools as well. But if you school abroad, you learn everything about the culture, the people. So it's very important that we begin to reinforce in the minds of our children that there are Nigerian heroes who paved the way, who have done great things, and that these are people that they can also look up to creating a stronger society, essentially. So Funmilayo came on the heels of me having directed Fela and the Kalakuta Queens on stage. And understanding Fela's personality and obviously his siblings, I began to ask myself, who is the mother that birthed all these phenomenally successful people? Then I started researching her, and because of the relationship that I developed with the Ransom Kuti family, they were very excited to partner with us on this journey.
Now, first off, it's a big one, I must say, to define someone like Filmmaking Austen Peters in the film. But then I want to ask you this: the casting, right? I normally like to ask directors and producers: do you write with certain actors in mind, or do you do the writing and you do an audition, or you do like a closed audition, like they call it, or you do something? For you personally, as a producer and a director, do you make these films with people in mind, with actors in mind?
So most times, because a lot of the stories that I've done came from me. Yeah. Like you said, I already have somebody in mind. Oh, Kende will be great for this role. Having directed her in Moremi, the musical, I knew she had what it took. Apart from the physical resemblance, Kende's delivery, when you watch the movie, you'll understand that her performance is purely, it's just iconic and deserving of an Oscar. So I knew Kende could give me the goods, and I rehearsed with her for about 6 months before we got into production. The other actors was based on the script, I wanted an older Fumilayo, I knew Joke Silva could do it because she has the ability to switch. She can speak excellent Yoruba and she can speak fluent English. And I needed somebody who could carry the sophistication of Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. And so Mrs. Joke Silva came to mind in doing that. Of course, all the other elite women, I handpicked them based on the personality and what I thought they could bring to the table. There are some projects that I do open auditions for. There are some that I do closed auditions for. But in this particular case, all the lead actors were all sort of like handpicked.
Great. I mean, it's good. I mean, it feels like you already knew what you wanted before you even started. Now, you talked about Kennedy's performance being Oscar worthy, right? And this will lead me to my next question.
Correct.
About the Oscar situation as it relates to Nollywood or Nigerian film getting position or representation at the Oscars. Now, it's been on for like 3 years, and it's not happened. We don't have a representation at the moment at the Oscars, right? And would this be a submission?
Oh yeah, this already was submitted for the Oscars. That was last year.
Yeah, great. I mean, if it wasn't, I'd probably be asking why.
But I think we didn't meet the language. There's a language barrier. There's a threshold that you have to hit in terms of the Yoruba or English, the local language. Yes. So I think that was something that did not help.
But aside that, what do you think would be? Now this is it for me. Let me be very honest, right?
Yeah.
I feel like our stories in Nigeria are not there yet. I feel like some persons get it, and I feel like some people don't at all. And even though some of the stories make it to mainstream, because I think to a large extent that the story makes a better part of the film. The technicalities, the camera work, the sound, the editing, the acting, but the story is the main thing. And I struggle to understand a number of stories. Maybe it's just Dami, right? I mean, maybe it's just me. And I like to always ask people around, what do you think about this thing? Is it just me that's thinking? What would you say, or what would you say we are with the story in Nigeria? I mean, your stories are different. You've done 93 days. You've done. I think for the better part of it, you try to be very intentional with the messages you're trying to pass across.
Correct.
From Bling Lagosians, to collision course.
Correct.
They make, for me. And I'm not saying this because you're here. Trust me, right?
Yeah, I know. I hear you're very vocal.
I don't like to miss my words. I just say it the way it is. So, what do you think about the story level in Nigeria? This is 2024, and we're still having this conversation.
Yeah.
What do you think can be done, should be done, must be done to get the stories to a par? Correct.
So I think that generally in Nigeria, there's a lot of work in progress in different fields, not only in storytelling, even in cinematography, costuming, makeup, hair, all the different aspects of filmmaking and the different aspects of our society. Just look around us. There's a lot that needs to be done in terms of education, in terms of finessing, in terms of finishing. And where we are now, I think, is work in progress. People are getting better. A lot of academies are springing up. So we're transferring knowledge from those who know to those who don't. And I think that in as much as we can criticize, I think that there's been growth and there's been some form of movement. Now, specific to me, I am who I am and I choose what I choose to do simply because that's who I am. I like historical things. I like things that make sense. If it's not making sense and I can't add A to B to C to D, I'm storytelling. It must sort of like connect. And stage has been very, very critical to my success because in stage, I don't have a retake. There's no second chance. So it's important that people get it when they come in here. There's no editing. So that has really helped my storytelling. So we have an academy here, supported by MasterCard Foundation, where we're teaching script writing. And I know so many other people that are doing the same. So I think that things will get better. I always try not to knock things too much these days in Nigeria because we really live in a dysfunctional society. And those that are trying their best within the limitations of the society that they find themselves in. So it's very important that we encourage, not discourage. And that's where I come from always.
Now, talking about encouraging, not discouraging, do you think critiquing is essential to the growth of Nollywood, particularly in 2024? I'm saying this because I've done a bit of this, right? And I've had people send me messages. And this is the only reason I give, even though I know a bit about film, because I produce too.
Okay.
But a bit that I know is, if I buy a product, I should be able to give my feedback on the product.
Correct.
Right? Regardless of how much I spent on it.
Absolutely.
Now, if I go to the cinema to spend, now it's about 5,000, 7, you know, to watch a film.
Yeah.
I should be able to tell you, I wasn't entertained, I wasn't excited about the film. And it seems like a lot of problems because Nigerians see criticisms or critiquing as an attack.
As an attack.
Straight up, they don't see anything else, they just see it as an attack. How important is critiquing in Nollywood at this stage?
There is nothing
constructive.
Yes, no. There is no growth in life if somebody is not critiquing you, correcting. Your parents do that all the time. In school, your teachers mark you up or down. It's some form of critiquing. And I think the important word is what you just sort of slotted in at the end, constructive. So you go to a cinema, you don't enjoy it, and then all you do is lash out at the personality behind it. That is not constructive. It's not helping anybody. If you're thorough and you, the consumer, actually understand why you did not enjoy it, give a feedback. I have done products from stage to movies to service in the restaurant. People will condemn you, they will criticize you, but out of all the nastiness, I go in and I pick out those who have sound reasoning. Why are you critiquing me? This story jumped. Why did it jump? But some people will just critique and they're like, I don't like the movie. Okay. Why? You can't even articulate what you don't like. You're just being nasty. That for me is not useful for anybody. Right? So if you want growth in life, you must be open to people criticizing you and critiquing your work. If you don't want to grow, then be averse to it. I always try as much as possible to embrace the negatives. I'll call my team, I'll tell them, listen, Dami must have a point. If he's saying this, there must be something he saw. So rather than be defensive, let us try and understand that person's perspective. Most times we found out that some people are troublesome, so you ignore those ones.
Absolutely.
But those that are sensible and reasonable, I take it as very, very important feedback. I go back to the drawing board and I'll say to my team, you remember XYZ? This is what they were saying. And it has always propelled us. But I'm saying that because I've run terror culture for 20 years. And at the beginning, I was also very tender-skinned. Any form of criticism got me worked up and it really used to irk me. But now I'm older, I'm wiser. I know that your criticism can't take me down. So I take it, move on, adjust, and hope for the best.
Actually, move on, adjust, and hope for the best. But then just 2 more lines before we round off, right? Now, as a director and producer, what are the 5 things that you would say are most important to you? Your process now, 5 things you're thinking of. You want to make a film, 5 things that you think is very essential to this film you're about to make. It could be anything. It could
First is what we talked about, script.
Okay.
The script is the foundation of everything. So when writers write for me, I start all over again. I critique the work. I sit with the writers. I rework when I'm not happy. I tell the writers, this is what I'm doing to it. Sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't, but I tell them this is how I'm comfortable this way. That's number 1. Number 2, actors. No matter how good a script is, if you have the wrong actor in that role, you're in trouble. They won't take you to the promised land.
Sorry to cut you.
Yes.
When you say wrong actor, 2 things came to my head. Wrong actor, this guy cannot exactly depict the role well. And this guy just has a bad attitude to work.
It's more of can't deliver. There are people with bad attitude. You'll live with it because they can still deliver the work. Bad attitude is manageable if the person is talented. But when you're not
when you're not talented.
But when you're not talented, and I know there's sometimes I'm like, guys, I've made a massive mistake here. This is bad casting.
Wow. Okay.
Sometimes it's redeemable, and I tell people that I'd rather pay them off than keep you, because I know you cannot deliver what I wanted to deliver. So a lot of times I've had to part ways with some actors. Sometimes we reduce the role, or I take you out completely at edit.
Okay.
Then third is costume. So I'm involved in all my costuming. There is no way you can represent a story or a character without getting them costumed appropriately, because costumes tell a story as well.
Yeah.
So if your costuming is just not right, maybe because of the stage background that we have now, costuming is so critical to the beauty because it's the aesthetics of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
That is very important. And set design. The set, the costume, all these things are very important for me when the four. I think so. When I start as once the script is going on, once I'm getting comfortable, I move into costuming next. Then the next thing is obviously casting. Then locations. We begin to look for locations. So locations and set design absolutely critical. Otherwise, you have very, very tight movements. If you don't have the right space, the cameras can't move around, etc. Yeah.
Okay.
So I cannot block a character when the space is tight.
That makes some good sense. Now, I like to play this last game before on my show. Now I'm going to put you on the spot, right? There's a film that we want to make.
Yes.
Hypothetically, right? There's a film that we want to make. I'm going to give you the chance to choose your lead actors, 4 of them, and the chance to give the film a name. We just do it now, right? Now, this is a story. There's a king that's about to die, right? And he calls all his 4 kids. Now, 2 would rather him just go. They don't really care about the man. Because, bro, just go and leave the whatever you have to us. And the other 2 are like, nah, we want you to still leave, right? Now, tell me, who would you cast in this 5? That's the man dying and the king.
Yes.
The 2 who wants the man to leave and the 2 who wants the man to go.
So the king, I would cast as maybe Femi Branch.
Okay.
The 2
who wants the man
errant children, the ones that don't want him, the ones that want him to die.
Yeah.
I would cast. Who do I? I'd cast Bucci.
The comedian?
No,
Bucci,
Franklin.
Bucci, Bucci Franklin.
The ones who want him to die.
Yeah.
I'll cast Bucci Franklin.
Okay.
And maybe Deyemi or Kolawon.
Okay.
And then for those who want him to live.
Yeah, you can add a woman in between. Yeah.
Okay, a woman. Who's a nice woman that I know would want somebody to live. Can't even think of all the actresses now. Remind me who the actresses are.
So there's Bimbo Ademoye, there's Kendi Bankole, there's Nancy Sima, there's Osaz, there is Bimbo Akintola. No, Bimbo Akintola.
Because she's very good, She's too old for that role.
She's too old for that role. There is Sharon Oja, there's Genoveva, there is
so women, I'll take Nancy.
Okay.
And there's a girl called Irele.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And what name would you give the film?
Nancy and Really.
Okay. What name would you give the film?
The Battle to Survive.
So we just made a film.
The Battle.
Yeah.
Or how do we call it? No, let's call it again.
Yeah.
It'll be Survival.
Survival.
I think Survival.
Survival, yeah.
Survival.
So guys, Survival coming out soon.
Survival coming out soon.
Directed by Bolanle Austen Peters.
Dami is the producer. Oh, sorry, I forgot my camera. Survival is coming to your screens very shortly.
Yeah.
Directed by Bolanle Austen Peters. Produced by the able Dami.
Thank you. And
the streaming platform shall be Pulse Nigerian.
Okay, yes, you heard it. Okay, starring Adeyemi Okalawo, Bucci Franklin, Really, and Nancy Sima. And it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That was fun.